Hello guys, and welcome back to another Jensen Media video. Thanks for tuning in. Today we are going to be talking about Konami. So it looks as though Sony might be trying to shop around for some of Konami's IPs, such as Castlevania, Silent Hill, and the Metal Gear Solid franchise. All of these franchises are pretty big and cost quite a lot to even think about acquiring. Even though Konami hasn't really done much with the franchises at all besides make a pachinko machine or two lately? How about another Metal Gear Solid Survive? Anyone? I didn't think so. They're not really producing anything anybody wants, besides maybe the soccer games that they produce every year. This rumor is actually an old one from a few months ago from a now deleted 4chan post, but no one really thought anything of it until just recently, when there were sources telling Rely on Horror that Sony is funding 2 new Silent Hill games, with Kojima at the head of one of them. So it does give it a little bit more credibility now, but still I would take anything with a grain of salt until there's anything official. Here is what the entire 4chan post says, which is actually really interesting and awesome if it would be true. Hello, I'm an employee from Konami, sorry for my bad English. I heard for a little moment that Sony wants to buy franchises such as Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, and Castlevania. They want to remake Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2. Kojima is involved, PS5 exclusive. Silent Hill Kichiro Toyama and Masahiro Ito, soft reboot, PS5 exclusive. Maybe Akumi Nakamura involved. She's with SIE now. Castlevania full reboot, Satoru Iida, Koji Igarashi, Sony Japan project. Very Bloodborne style, I think more like Lords of Shadows, not a 2D platform. PS5 exclusive. Now, even though Konami has really kind of been really horrible lately at putting out any new games in their franchises, I'm not really sure how possible it would be to have them give up that much. After all, that is pretty much a good chunk of what Konami is known for. Those are the 3 big names in their library besides maybe Contra, and that's really stretching it. If they were to give those 3 to Sony, Konami would essentially be giving them the rights to print money. I mean, they're not really making the games anymore. They've essentially stopped producing any big budget games since Phantom Pain came out. I do think the only way they would ever sell off these beloved franchises that would make a ton of money would be if the company was bleeding out and they were about to go under and Sony just wanted to buy all those games. What I do believe is going to happen ultimately is Konami will end up licensing out their IPs to Sony. That way Sony can make the Silent Hills and the Metal Gears and anything they want to make and make the fans happy, and Konami will still be able to make a buck off those games without doing so much as lift a finger pretty much. It would make entirely much more sense. They'd never be able to use the franchises again in the future if they decided to just completely sell the rights away. I don't think they would do that. That's really their 3 babies. Who would really do that? The smarter route would definitely be to license out the games. It makes a ton more sense and sheds a little bit light on this rumor, since it does say Sony is funding 2 new Silent Hill games, which would be a full-on reboot, and also the Silent Hills game that we came to know from Kojima and Norman Reedus, that we thought would never see the light of day. It's also worth noting that the Silent Hills game they are talking about is a remake. It's not entirely the same as we got from PT. It has to be completely remade over. So it could be entirely a different experience from what we've seen in the PT demo. We don't know if they're gonna go completely with what originally was planned or what. Like I said, it's a very smart move from Konami if they do decide to do this. It will definitely make fans more happier, and we will actually get more Silent Hill, Metal Gear, and Castlevania games, which is pretty much what everybody wants. And I mean, Disney has been licensing out their stuff for years to games, so it's just a smart move. But what this would also mean is that all these franchises would be exclusive to PS5, which I'm not thrilled about, but it is what it is. If we get new games like that, I am so willing on buying a PS5, it's not even funny. So if we look more closely at the post, we can see that it definitely does say that they want to fully remake Metal Gear 1 and 2, which I believe were the Nintendo games, if I remember correctly. I don't think they're talking about the Metal Gear Solid games, so I'm not really sure where they would go with that. Would they go a full 3D experience such as Metal Gear Solid, or would they keep it a 2D top-down perspective? I'm not really sure. It's also worth noting that Kojima is involved in that as well, if that is indeed true. This blows my mind because Konami and Kojima went their own ways, and it even looked like there was definitely fallout between them. I never imagined we would see Kojima working on a Metal Gear Solid game again, or even imagining that the Silent Hills game would see the light of day at all. It also shows that Silent Hill would be soft rebooted, which they also want the original people to work on it, the same ones that did work on the classic games, which I think would be awesome. Lastly, and also the main thing that would be personally awesome for me, is that they want to reboot the Castlevania series as well, as more of a Bloodborne style game, which in that case, take my money, like seriously, take it and give me that glorious game already. I absolutely love Bloodborne, and I think it's an awesome idea. All the lore and story and the Castlevania thrown together with a Bloodborne style game with all the Castlevania monsters. Could you imagine a Bloodborne style game in Dracula's castle? I'm telling you, Sony, if you make this game, I'm just gonna throw my money at you. Now take note, there is no proof that this post is legit on 4chan. Like I said, it was deleted soon after. Now, even though there are sources talking about the Silent Hill games being funded by Sony, nothing else has come up in the works. It's all just rumor. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I can't possibly say that I'm not a little bit excited by the possibilities here. I'm not too thrilled about them being exclusives, but it's a price you pay. Anyway guys, let me know what you think and your thoughts below. Let's go ahead and get a discussion rolling about this. Let me know what you think, and like always guys, you have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.